Action.
Has your mom and dad, grandpa or grandma, ever had everybody over for the holidays and it turned out that too many people showed up? Not enough beds to bed everybody, not enough turkey to feed everybody. When you need to go to the bathroom, there's always somebody in there and you gotta wait. And it never fails. You always have somebody who inevitably brings a cold to the house and gets everybody sick. Folks, what I've just described to you is a very small version on a very small scale of a very much larger home called Earth. In order to preserve ourselves and the people we love, the land and the trees, and the beautiful animals that we share this land with, we have to start thinking population control. Today, I want you to take home a couple of things, and I want to bring a couple of things to your attention. Number one, the obvious things in overpopulation and the problems it can cause, such as pollution of air, water, and land, such as the problems with unemployment, and with that comes high crime rates. And I also want to talk about the danger of extinction of some of our species. What we need to do, and I can't emphasize this enough, I'm going to give you some solutions today. But to bring to your attention, before I get into the solutions, I will not bring up things like genocide. I will not suggest sterilization. I will not suggest China's one-child policy. I will not in any way, shape, or form ask anybody to compromise their faith. Overpopulation, and one of the biggest problems we have is pollution with air, water, and land. Air pollution is caused by the release of carbon dioxide from human beings. Each and every one of us contributes to the carbon dioxide level in the air, which inevitably causes a greenhouse effect. I also want to mention the fact that land pollution is caused by the dumping of industrializations and wastes. Our water supplies as well is becoming polluted because we're running out of places to put our waste. I also want to mention the fact that overpopulation causes a problem in high unemployment rates. The more people there are, the greater job competition there is, the less chances for jobs. And with that comes hand in hand, higher crime rates. I also want to bring to your attention the endangerment of the very species that we share this land with. Because as deforestation takes place, cutting down trees and forests, we take away the very ecosystems that necessitate lives for these animals. I want to bring you an interesting article that came out of the New York Times by Maria Navarro, Breaking a Long Silence on Population Control. She said, what we do, and she is the executive director for the Center of Biological Diversity, said that all the species that we have saved from extinction will eventually be gobbled up if the human population keeps growing. I just brought with me today, too, just a couple of slides I want to go over with you, and a couple of startling statistics to compare 1970s population of 3.6 billion to 1990s population of 5.3 billion. Just alone, we've consumed 17 billion barrels of oil in 70, 24 billion barrels of oil in 1990. Natural gas consumption has gone up from 31 trillion cubic feet to 70 trillion cubic feet. Coal consumption has gone from 2.3 billion tons to 5.2 billion tons. And what we're doing here, electric generating capacity, 1.1 billion kilowatts versus 2.6 billion kilowatts, and that is just in 20 years. Now, I also want to bring to you something else that was interesting. 1.1 billion people in this world, out of almost 7, suffer from malnutrition because of population growth. Ecological footprints, and I'm going to tell you what an ecological footprint is. It's the amount of biological land and water natural resources per person that we need to survive. In the United States, each person consumes 5 hectares, which is 2.47 acres per hectare, which is approximately 100,000 square meters. Some of our commons that are in danger: atmospheric pollution and climate change, as I had said, water pollution, including ground aquifers, deforestation and loss of oxygenation, the oceans, coral reefs, and Urbani national parks, and non-renewable resources. Humanity has spawned a species of extinction to rival the Great 5 extinctions of 65 to 440 million years ago. And last but not least, I want to bring up the CO2 release in the air, which is increasing and creates a greenhouse effect. The rise in temperatures. These are the types of things that we need to worry about. I want to say this. By making a conscious effort to make a change in population control, What we do is we get better land, water, air. We provide job security as there's enough jobs to go around for everyone. And with that, we also lower the crime rate. And we also preserve the beautiful species that we share this land with. Imagine living in a world where all people and all things find the highest quality of life. We do this by simply making a change. And by doing that, we now become the solution and no longer the problem. I want to bring to you, as I told you, a couple of things that we can do to make a difference in population control. Because we have an audience of men today, condoms. Each and every one of us, if we're responsible with the use of condoms, can cut down on the birth rate. The number two thing, which I told you, which will compromise no one's faith, and I want to give you a quote from the Morality of Population Control. And this has to do with education. When there's a conflict between your religion, and this came from a comment from Paul Collins, when there's a conflict between your religion and population control, consider increasing the church's agencies in educating, giving higher standards of literacy, health care, development aid in the breaking down of social and class barriers. This is a great way to compensate for some of the most horrific suggestions over the course of history that have been used to control the population. And in no way, shape, or form can we go to bed tonight feeling guilty about what we do. And finally, I want to make a suggestion that a lot of people don't think about, and that's reform. Reform in the sense of Social Security. We don't see as much of it in this country, although it's starting to break ice. In third world countries, a lot of the major school of thought amongst people and families is the more kids you have, the better security you have of being taken care of when you get older. By improving the Social Security programs in these third world countries, we take away the need to have a lot of kids. And I hope today what I was able to present you with was not only the causes of overpopulation, which in this instance we're talking about pollution of air, water, and land, but also the threat of job security and high unemployment rates, and also with that the crime rates, but also preserving the beautiful creatures that we share this land with. I want to leave you with a quote from Smokey the Bear. Only you can control forest fires. In this case, folks, we're the forest fire. And I want you to use Aristotle's doctrine of the means on this. And what I'm saying by that is if we get too close to the fire and play with it, we may get burned. But if we put the fire out, we'll never feel its warmth, no revel in its illumination. Godspeed.
Well done, Dr.